Greetings and welcome to my guide about sustaining low-level maps. In this video I will cover the purpose of low-level farming, Atlas rules crucial for single map sustain, an algorithm which can be derived out of them, and show a practical example. So let's get started with the question, why do you farm low-level maps? There are a bunch of reasons for this. Farming wide maps with weak monsters and easy layouts is a low-risk, high-reward activity. So, playing specially optimized magic find builds is a go-to method of farming currency and valuable divination cards at fast pace. The best example is farming burial chambers for Doctor card. Also, there is almost always the case when farming a new league mechanic in an environment where doing more low-level encounters in a faster pace is more profitable than high-level with slower pace. Example is the recent Glacier farming. Now, let's move on to the Atlas rules necessary for map sustain. First, in an empty Atlas, any certain map can only drop an adjacent map. Second, every completed map is added to the whole map drop pool and can drop anywhere within the level restriction range, which is +2 levels. Atlas bonus stacks up to 100%, where you are guaranteed that every map will drop one tier higher. Every extra bonus point above that gives a corresponding chance to drop 2 tiers higher instead of 1. You should also note that besides Atlas bonus, there is a +1 bonus from magic and rare mobs and +2 from unique bosses. Even with existing level bonuses, maps can drop downgraded because of sealing and shaping mechanics. And last but not least, the level restriction range for map drops is +2 levels. Knowing all these important rules, we will end up with the following algorithm. First, choose a white map. Then, seal all other maps of the same tier and tier above it, except connected ones, because they will drop even if they are sealed. Check how many maps of the next tier are connected. If there is just one, then put a Shaper's Orb on it. If there are 2 neighbors, then you will need to put Shaper's Orb on one and Elder's Orb on another. And now, after you've set up your Atlas, just elk and go. And now let's put our knowledge into practice of sustaining glaciers. Glacier farming is a recent method that utilizes new Legion League mechanic. Monsters and chests spawned by Monolith have a huge variety of fixed loot options indicated by corresponding emblem above them. This mechanic leads to the fact that you don't need to fully clear a map, only Monolith to get the majority of the loot. Magic find is not necessary because a good portion of loot is fixed, although you still need a fast build with good clear speed. Glaciers have simple open layout where most of the monoliths spawn right at the beginning of the map, so with good build it takes only about 1 minute per map. And the last unfortunate or fortunate thing is that there is almost no chance it will survive Legion League going core. Now let's go through the algorithm to set up our Atlas. First, we obviously choose a Glacier map. Then, we seal all other T2s and T3s except Leyline and Mausoleum. These are the 2 T3 maps that are connected to Glacier. So, we put a Shaper's Orb on one and Elder's Orb on another. And we're ready to go. So, what happens when you run a Glacier with this setup? Every T2 map drop is Glacier, because every other T2 is sealed. Leyline and Mausoleum can't drop because they are T8 and T16. Every T3 drop downgrades to T2 because all unconnected T3s are sealed and all connected change their level drastically. With 100 plus Atlas bonus, every T1 is T2. Even if it rolls higher to T3, it still downgrades to T2. At this point, you will not just sustain glaciers, but over-sustain them. At the end of the guide, I'd like to point out some important things regarding this method in general. The video was made at the end of Legion League, patch 3.7. The Atlas shuffles every league and maps often change their tiers, so keep that in mind. For example, if Burial Chambers or Glacier becomes a red map, this particular method won't work so well, because you can shape a red map and sustain seeps through. But sustaining certain red maps is a topic for another day. However, if Atlas rules and current layout principles, like how many maps are connected to each other, don't change, then this method is still operational. I would like to thank you for watching this guide and wish you luck with farming any white map your heart desires.